Good morning and happy Monday, everybody. I hope everyone has a good start to their week so far, and good afternoon to some of us on the East Coast and Midwest. So today we're going to talk about collections for sellers. And this is not a novel concept or something that I invented, but like many of the things that we talk about, it's the context in which you use it in. So first and foremost is we work at a tech company. So being able to showcase technology when you're competing against other brokers from other brokerages is a competitive advantage. The second part is when competing against other Compass agents, because the world is filled with 35,000 of you guys, the context in which you use this and we share today will be your competitive advantage. And so there are three parts to this process: before, during, and after. So before the pitch, you're going to want to make a collection. And let me preface this by saying this, and everyone please write this down. Step one, create another email account. Step two, set up a collection and send it to yourself as if you were the client. The part that many people tend to forget is if they have a technology issue, you can't say email support@compass.com and you can't say contact the AM. You are the support person. So you have to understand what the client experience is like. It's also an option for you to see what the email looks like, an option to see what happens when you click the button, and to be able to walk them through this. And for bonus points, you or someone else you know, or you could go on Fiverr and do something like this, record like a little screen capture 60-second video that walks them through the process. So you want to understand what the customer experience is. I don't know, I lost track of the numbers. So let's go back. Number three, we're going back to before. So you want to make sure that you can really test this all out. Now, before, what goes into the collection? A couple different things. Sold properties start with 90 days. So write that down. And if you can't find enough comps, go back 120. And if not 120, go back 6 months. Remember, everything we do is connected to everything else, right? Because when going through pricing, if people aren't in alignment with you, you want to go back 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, a year, 18 months from now. That's the process you want to follow. Now, when going through sold properties, there's some things you want to highlight. Now, think of it like a science experiment. All the properties are the observation. Laura Lynn, nice to see you again. What your unique ability is, knowledge of the market and everything else, is the inference. People are paying you for inferences. So if you think of the emergence of technology, sites like Zillow, Redfin, and many of these other websites provide people a lot of information. So 0 to 1, you have to know the market at least as well as the seller does and what's traded. And as a bonus, if you have private exclusives that sold off market, coming with off market knowledge is really important. Now, there are three key indicators to the market that you're going to want to highlight in this process. Number one is days on market. Number two is list price to sales price. What a seller asks for versus what a buyer is willing to pay. And third one's ultimately the price. And the fourth one is the context in which you know the property. Now, there are a lot of properties. Raise your hand if you've seen a property that looks really great online, and when you go into the property, it's like getting catfished. It's amazing what a wide angle lens and some photo editing and retouching can do. You're like, wow, this house looks really big and amazing. It's small, tiny, and there's no way it lives the size of the square footage. By the way, that's another thing. How many people lie about square footages on the MLS and on properties? They add the basement in. It's very tricky. So this is where you can really show off your market expertise. And when I was young, immature, and thought I had every answer in the world, I would be like, broker tours, what a waste of time these are. And as I became more mature and I opened my mind, I really realized the value of it is knowing the inventory to be able to talk to people. And if you're in a limited inventory market, like many of us around the country are today, it's more important than ever to know every single house. Because when you're having conversations with people, you can give context that other people can't. So this is where you add in your expertise, market knowledge, interpretation of the market, unique features, things you know about the home, things that the internet can't tell. Now, the second area is properties in contract. Now, you'll want to go and put obviously all the properties that are most comparable into contract, that are in contract in the collection. Now, in this, you're going to want to highlight the changes in the market. So if you're really preparing for a pitch, you want to be able to reach out to agents and ask them, were there multiple offers? How many offers? Are you comfortable sharing what the contract price was? Is there anything about this home that you could tell me that was not on the internet? And that's where you put the context of that in. But really what you want to show is days on market are really down in a lot of areas. So you'll want to say if the sold properties 90, 120, 180 days were 14 days, and now they're 21 days, that's a 50% raise in days on market. So use percentages when they work in your favor and explain to them as the days on market go more, it's still a limited inventory market, but buyers are having more opportunities, more choices, and potentially a chance to negotiate more. Highlight the change in the market for the people. So the psychology of this is they're going to say that Estelle shared with us these 3 key indicators, as well as the change in the market, information about the house. So what is somebody going to think? They're going to think that you really know the market. How do you want them to feel comfortable and secure? What do you want them to do? Feel really good and excited about the appointment before you get there, because you're putting a unique spin on this before anyone else does. Now, active properties, same thing, put the context in of the properties, obviously. So you're not just writing information that they could read from the listing. Now, the third part is active properties. Now, active properties, you're going to want to highlight again the days on market and anything that you know about the homes from touring them, talking to agents, or anything else that they can't find on the internet. Now you actually have a fully robust collection. Does that sound simple to everyone? Raise your hand. I'm going to open up the chat really quickly. How many people are using collections for comps right now? Okay, so I would say about 30 to 40% of us are. Now, the next step is, how do we communicate this with the clients? I would say the difference between a collection and a CMA, a collection is a good preview. CMA is something that you could actually bring on the appointment with you. Now, I would send this to the client prior to even meeting them. Prior. Now, people that say, why do I want to give this information away? Yes, a collection. Why do I want to give them my work? They could use it with another agent. Now, that's a limiting belief and a scarcity mindset. People are going to do that. They're going to do it anyway. And why not put your best foot forward? So I would send an email that said, Carla, I look forward to the opportunity of partnering with you in the sale of your home. I have created an interactive market update where I've gone in and I've shared what sold successfully over the last blank amount of days, the properties that are in contract, as well as your active competition. I have gone in and added notes to each property to provide you some context about the home and the market. Please take a moment and review prior to our meeting. And if you have any questions about the properties, please put them in the comment section so we can have everything in one place. Simply click the link below and just follow the blank, blank, blank directions and get started. Look forward to meeting you at Monday at 5 p.m. Chirag. Now, does that lay out a whole different context of this, an interactive market update? 100%. Does this set this up for the customer service process that we built later with the weekly check-ins and everything else and everything through collections? 100%. Does this also allow you to go in there and say, hey, we can customize this? This can almost work in real time. Do you want updates on new properties and contracts sold and active competition in real time? Do you want them weekly? How would you prefer to have them? Now, the other part is framing this for the pitch. So I would say, Linda, would you ever imagine working with your financial planner where you were not able to get updates within real time when you wanted for your portfolio? What do you think everyone's going to say? No. Well, we know that your home is your most valuable asset, and we want to make sure that we don't create that experience you don't want. Can I share with you how we can do this? And they're going to say, yeah, and you're going to go through collections. You're going to say, this is your interactive market update. And has there ever been a time where you've lost something communicating through multiple parties, through multiple channels, phone, email, text, messenger? Every person says yes to this. It's like the bane of our existence today. Some things we email, some things we text, some things we call, some things we send voice notes. How many people here have to deal with this clients and organize all this stuff? And when you forget something, they get mad at you. You're a real estate agent, not somebody's personal assistant and memory system. So it's our job to set the standard on how we organize it. And they're going to say yes. The beautiful part about our interactive market update is if you ever have to make an improvement, not a reduction, an improvement to the price, we have all the most valuable information and all of our conversations stored in one place, because we want to make sure that you have the proper context of the overall market before you make any major decisions. That sounds good, right? I think so. Again, it's laying out the framework. So in terms of, someone asked, when is this available? We were putting all the notes in prior to the sessions, but then I have all these scripts that happen like in the context of talking, like the way that I'm able to share with you is things come out naturally in conversation. But then everyone was going back like, where's the script? Where's the email template? So now my team is taking the next step to literally transcribe this, and anything that's an email template, a script, they're able to put in there for you guys so you have that. So your patience does pay off in this. And look, this is one of these things that's like learning from reality, because the most valuable thing is not having this right away, is having all the tactical things that you could use for your business that you can literally plug and play in as needed. So now here's the next part to this. Now this is all going on. Now the next part in collections is your weekly customer service update. You're going to say, when we have our check-in call every week, we'll review the feedback for your home, the results of our marketing, which is insights reports, and updating the market, which we'll do through collections. And at any time, if you have a question about the market, what's going on, please feel free to drop it under the properties or within the collections, again, so everything is organized in one place. Would that be helpful to you so nothing gets lost? See, would that be helpful to you so nothing gets lost? You see, it's in their benefit. Who just got a bunch of their time back? You did. Not anybody else, you did. Look, my goal for all of you is to build one system that you can work into. So all the things you do are connected together to create a predictable and repeatable customer experience. That's why we all love the Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, JW Marriott, and any of those high-end resorts or hotels. It's the experience that they provide. So now this goes back to the anywhere, anytime, any place concept, right? If they want to know what's going on, they could just download the Compass app and go to the collection. They could see all the comments and everything else. If I were you, I would make one master doc that had a link to the collections, that had a link to your showing feedback that we talked about last week. And then the third one is just the link to the insights reports, right, that are downloaded in a folder. And all this could live in a seller portal within Business Tracker. None of this stuff has to be fancy or anything. You can just literally put a Compass logo, your brand on there, and just type in a document, because people having information care a hell of a lot more than how it looks. Does this make sense to everybody? All right, now here's a cool little trick that you can do with buyers. So before the sale ends, again, you're going to frame the conversation. When you work with your financial advisor, Deborah, do you find it helpful to get ongoing updates and reviews of what's going on in your portfolio? When you work with your financial planner, do you find it helpful or beneficial to get ongoing updates and reviews for your portfolio? What do you think they're going to say? Yes. You're going to say, would you like the identical service with your home and what's going on with home values after you close? Would you like the identical service for what's going on with your home and home values in your neighborhood after you close? What do you think most people are going to say? Yes, because you frame the conversation in a way it makes sense. Great. Would you prefer annually or biannually? And they're going to pick. Great. So what we're going to do is we'll keep this collection of comps. We'll keep your neighborhood collection active. And as new properties come on, do you want to be alerted in real time, weekly, monthly, whatever those options are? And say, again, if you have questions, just put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. If you have a friend that's looking to move to the neighborhood, you can obviously always add them to the collection so they could see a history of what's going on as well as what's active. And most importantly, we'll be in touch and schedule annually, biannually, full comprehensive review of your home. By the way, you just set yourself up to be the real estate agent for life. Because if you're meeting them like this, you're looking at your collection, you're doing the reviews, you have your client events, a handwritten notes, a whole 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How are you ever going to lose a client? They just agreed for you to stay in touch with them 1 to 2 times a year and look at your collection, because you created the value that they want and you want to give them. Hit yes if this is all making sense to you, how this all connects together. Good. So 1, we went through a lot of information relatively quickly. 2, you're going to get some time back in your calendar today, but not before I touch on one more thing. Don't think you guys are escaping without hearing this today. Are you all using your implementation tracker to make sure that you're getting the most out of these programs? And if you're not, what we found is from the morning session, there are not that many people using it. And remember, we built this thing in such a specific way for all of you. Go back to the session in the beginning, how to get the most out of coaching. Schedule 30 minutes to watch it this week. And at the end of this, it's really simple. You spend 5 minutes and you write down what you learned, what your takeaways was, what they were, prioritizing them, right? High, medium, low, as well as, and then putting a time block in your calendar to do the work. When you put a time block in your calendar in the note section right away, you put the action you're going to take, because in this moment right now, you know exactly what you want to do. And this is how you get the most out of this. And then you just need to practice, because the reality is if you start leveling up and practicing every day, it doesn't take that long to learn how to do any of these things. So we try to make them all very simple for you. So if you could learn, if you practice 4 days a week for 30 minutes, you could learn 1 to 2 new skills a month. Now imagine the compound effect over that. I call it the Kobe effect. After year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, you're going to be 100 times better than agents. And in a world where buyer's agency is being threatened and all these different things from class action lawsuits, how you communicate what you do to people is the most valuable skill you have. You could have all the leads in the world and you could suck at talking to people and you're going to lose money every year. If you don't know how to handle the most common objections, which are questions, you're always going to have a challenge. And if the events don't add up with what we cover, because we try to keep this program fluid based on what the market is, just go in and change the topic. It takes 2 minutes. Listen, an old business coach used to say this to me. It was one of the first lessons I learned in coaching. He says, Chirag, people that want to do things, find a way to get them done. People that don't want to do things, find excuses. Who do you want to be? And that's the thought I'll leave you on. So we're putting this system together. The stuff you have today is plug and play. You could do it right away. And make sure if you have not, set yourself up and see what the client experience is. Get a good email template down where all you have to do is insert the date and the time and the link to the collection. Everything else is the same. Remember, predictable and repeatable. And you have to log into our platform. So look, everybody, we got through all of our stuff. I encourage you to take the next 7 minutes and go to your implementation tracker. And if you're not, put a time block in your calendar for 30 minutes to do something that you learned today. And I want you to get in the habit of doing that. We don't do things just for the sake of doing them. And as you'll see, our curriculum throughout the end of this year and going into the fall and winter, I always mix these up. It's going to be around this and real estate. At the end of the year, I have the most incredible stuff planned for you for local marketing and how to be the local market expert. And this whole concept of, I want to be the go-to agent in the market. I don't know what a go-to agent is, right? Like it doesn't really make sense. What you want to be is someone that's known for knowing the community, providing great service, and most importantly, caring. My dear friend and mentor, Rory Gallad, said this. He says, caring is a competitive advantage. And you guys all care, or you wouldn't be here every day. There are literally 300 to 500 people a day that show up to do what you guys are doing. This community is not small. Get out of your bubble, reach out to new people, take action. And if you're having a hard time doing it, find another person and commit to like 2 or 3 time blocks a week where you guys show up, build a relationship, and do the work together. As Robert says, no one succeeds alone. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And take the scripts, the emails, and everything else, and let us know how it goes. Bye, everybody.